Now we're ready to add our curb to the edge of our sidewalk here, and that's going to be a sweep, an edge sweep that will go around that. So the best way to probably show you that detail is to go to wireframe here for a moment and go to the floor and go to a slab edge. And a slab edge is just a generic shape that if I touch this surface, you'll notice it adds this kind of angled thickening of the slab. And that's a very useful function, but that's not the curb. But we're going to use the same technique and construct a curb surface. So the way we're going to do that is, well, we'll start by, I'll go back and select this curb, or this slab edge, and I'll edit it, and I'll duplicate it, and now I'll call it curb. And the two things we need to do are give it a new material and then to create a new profile. Right now this is a 24 by 12 inch profile, and so let's start with doing that. Let's create a curb profile that we can then come back to this and drop it in by selecting it along here. So I will go OK for this for now, knowing that we have to come back to it with our profile, and I'll delete this one to get it out of the way. So the way we work on a profile is we open up a family element. So I'm going to go to File, and I'm going to go New, Family, because we're going to start from a template. I'm going to go into English Imperial, and I got to make sure that this is showing for you. Hold on. English Imperial, and we're going to go down to Profile, Hosted, and we're going to open that up. And once again, I got to get my big head out of the way. And now we have a place where we can draw that profile. So I'm going to start selecting the idea of that being the insertion point up there, and we're going to just draw lines. And the idea here is just a profile, so it's just a series of lines. So I'll start out by coming down 6 inches. I'll come across, and I have this, it's set on a chain command. I'll come out 1 foot 4 inches. I'll come up just 2 inches. I'll come back a foot. And then I'll continue up till we touch the top, and then I'll close it off. And the last thing I want to do is to actually modify this profile by giving it a radius. So I'm going to go back to Create and Align tool, and I'm going to grab that Fillet Arc tool, and we'll just pull a little bit of a softening of that edge, something like that. And I move my screen off my monitor here. Let me just try to correct this here. Just a second. Let me, there we go. Okay, so now I'm going to save this. So I'm going to go to File, Save As, a Family. And I'm going to save it into my CV5 project, and I'm going to call it Curb Profile. And if you label these correctly, I mean, you have an opportunity to obviously be able to reuse these at other times in other projects. So we'll go ahead and save that. We'll load it into the project. It's not going to show up and indicate that it's in the project, but it's there. And we'll go back to that model view again. And we'll go to Floor, and we'll add that slab edge. And this time we're going to pick that curb we created, but we still have to edit it because we don't have that profile in yet. So I'm going to go to the profile, and I'm going to go to slab, what's saying slab thickened, and now you'll see that we've imported that curb profile. Last thing we need to do is add a material to it, and I'm going to make a new material. We've already downloaded that. So I'm going to go to Create a New Material, and I'll call it curb material. And you're welcome. Oops, I didn't right click. You're welcome to create any kind of naming conventions that you feel comfortable or seem the most logic. So I need an image texture. This will automatically open to where I'm working on my CV5. And there's the curb color, the download concrete pattern. And I pulled that off the internet because I thought it had a good color value to it. The concrete seemed a little yellowish green in Revit, and this seemed to be more neutral. And we might want to just see what its scale is. We might upscale it a little bit. I'll just experiment with that. Let's just make that 5 to see if that, well, that might be excessive. I'll go back down to 2. Oops. Not 2 inches, 24 inches then. Done. Apply, okay. Okay, and now we're ready to actually place that curb. So if I come and touch one of these surfaces, you'll notice it places that curb, and I touched the wrong surface and it placed it down below. So I'm going to go ahead and delete that one, and I'm going to do the technique again. I'm going to go to floor. Excuse me, I didn't mean to do that. I'm going to go to, let me cancel out of that. I meant to go to a floor and slab edge, and the curb is still selected. And I want to make sure I just touch the top of this surface. And you know, as I click, it continues to make that curb going all the way around. And we'll just back out here so we can get up to the top and complete these two. And there we have a nice curb. Let's see how good it looks when we go to realistic rendering. All right, and we have the line showing, so that's a little bit, you know, hyper real, or you know, not very realistic, but that completes the technique for building the curb.